your yoga practice. I'm Phoenix Wilson. In our class today, we're going to be focusing on relieving tension and creating openness, primarily in the hips. So whether we've been spending large amounts of time sitting through the day, or even if we've been particularly active like running, we may discover we feel a little bit of tension or tightness building in the hip and even the lower back. So many of the poses we do here today will help to create a little greater ease in that area of the body. So I always like to begin a class by reminding you, of course, that your body is your best teacher and guide, that it'll let you know if something's not safe because you'll feel it. You'll usually feel a pain or a discomfort, particularly if you're feeling that in a joint like your hip or your knee. That's a great indication to ease off. We don't have to push hard. We're never trying to strain or force in our yoga practice. Of course, we'll feel somewhat of a discomfort just by the stretch if we're really tight, but never a sense of pain. Okay, so with all that being said, really all we'll need primarily for our practice is our yoga mat or whatever space we're working in. And let's go ahead and we'll begin. So our first pose that we're going to come to is just simply resting comfortably to our back with our knees to our chest. So let your knees roll deeply in towards your chest. Kind of give your knees a little squeeze in and a hug away. Kind of like you're hugging in this little gentle melt or press of your back to the floor and then release. And then let's just pause, hug the knees in. And the hands or elbows could wrap around the knees or the shins. And we're going to pause here. Let the eyes close if it's comfortable. And take a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. Notice the weight of the back of your body, your hips, your shoulders, the back, the head, just melting a little more easily and fully to the floor. And all of the extraneous activity of the day, our to-do list that's always never ending, whatever we may be experiencing right now, just for this moment, may we imagine placing all of that outside this space, outside the door. We can always revisit it later. But giving ourselves just a moment of pause, resetting our body and mind. Let's take another really nice full breath in and gentle exhale. Now draw the knees in deeper to the chest, and we're going to start to circle in the hip, starting to bring a little bit of just warmth into the hip. We can keep our hands to the knees or not, whichever's most comfortable, and start to circle your knees into each other, out and away, and we'll reverse clockwise and counterclockwise. Now bring the knees again to the chest. A gentle little sweep or twist to the side. The legs roll off of our mat and to the side. A little twist. Once again, a twist to the side. Twist to the side. And gently back. Good. Take your left ankle to your right thigh. Sometimes we call this in yoga figure 4. Let's press through the feet. Create this active quality through the legs as we press through the feet. Hands to the hamstring. And if it's comfortable, you could even rest the hands to your shin bone. So if you prefer, it's perfectly fine if we just kind of want to pause and be static, resting here. Or you could give a little rock side to side. Even this sort of circular motion again through the hip. Just kind of warming up into the hip. From here, we're going to bring the knee in, pause, take a breath, and just explore gradually rolling a little bit to your right side if you're holding your right shin bone. In so doing, that, you'll begin to feel this stretch extend into the outer edge of your left hip and thigh. And just pause into this stretch. Let's take a breath in for 3, 2, 1. And of course, you're always welcome to stay in a pose longer or come out of it before I mention. Listen to what feels good for you. We're going to bring the other leg in and reverse this. So I bring my ankle to rest the left thigh. And again, we can hold the hamstring. That's good. We'll give this little rock side to side, a little circle through the hip. And then gradually here, we're going to bring our hands into the shin bone or the hamstring, whichever is most comfortable. Feel the weight of the body again, extending comfortably to the floor. And we're just going to once more explore rolling a little bit to that left side. It's amazing, just that little roll to the left brings in a whole new level of, we'll call it sensation or a stretch in the outer edge of that right thigh. A steady another breath here. Gently release. Good. Okay, take the feet up, a little circle in the wrist here and the ankles, and then kind of shake out the hands, arms, legs, and feet. Take a breath in. Let's press through the feet. Roll the knees again into the chest. We're going to roll through all the way to our side and come right up to table pose. Good. So, in table pose, let's just take a moment and stretch all the way back to child's pose. And remember, we want to have the knees slightly apart, so there's this hollow quality for the torso and chest to rest. The head either rests to the back of the hands or simply to the mat. Natural long breath in and easy breath out. One more breath. Another breath out. Take a reach forward with the arms. We're going to rise into table. Beginning to bring some movement through the spine with our cat-cow. Exhale, rounding the spine. In, breath lifting upward through the collarbones, the chest to the sky. Exhale, rounding. One more time. Good. Come right back to table pose. From table, go ahead and bring your right foot forward to the upper outer edge of your mat. And so we're nudging the right leg away from the chest. The hands rest under the shoulders. We're just going to extend into this right inner thigh. Take a nice steady breath here. If I wanted to deepen in this, I could possibly explore bringing the elbows to the ground. The weight even in the left and the right arm. If the back knee feels tender to the floor, of course put a little blanket or towel under the knee. From here, let's take a breath out and roll back through the hip, long link through the hamstring. Nudge your tiptoes towards your kneecap. There's that stretch a little deeper into the hamstring and back of the leg. Let's be a little bit more dynamic with our movement as we start off. Bend the knee, roll back through the hip. Good. Bend the knee. Roll back through the hip. We're going to pause here. Feel as though you're lengthening long through your spine. Take a deep breath in. Lift your right arm to the sky. Gaze to your right hand. Exhale, fold in. Let's bend the knee and then stretch this leg back. Bring the foot to stretch back. behind you, draw the tailbone also to the floor. Take a nice deep breath in. Lift with your left arm to the sky. So your right leg is back, but your left arm is rising, and come back into the mat. Let's just reverse that. Take your left leg back and lift with your right arm to the sky. Just this gentle twist. Good, folding back. Reverse this now. Bring your left foot to the front edge of your mat. And again, it's all the way to the edge of the mat, opening into your left inner leg. Stay with the hands here, or if you prefer, you could come in with the elbows. Let's take about 3 nice, easy breaths simply here. As you're ready, you're just going to take your time to roll back through the hip, lengthen through your hamstring. And again, let's just be a little bit more dynamic initially. Bend the knee. I'm not changing the placement of my foot. I'm just rolling back through the leg, creating that extension. Once again, bend the knee. Last time, roll back through this leg, take a breath in, lift wide, left arm to the sky. Exhale, come right back in. Good, bend the knee, and we're gonna stretch back just for a moment to plank pose. Let's take a steady breath here. Remember, at any point, your knees could also touch the floor. That's fine. We're gonna breathe in for 3, 2, 1, and stretch back to downward facing dog. In downward dog, give a little shift through your hips, side to side. Stretch long through your spine. Good. Let's actually lead with our right leg. So we're going to lift this right leg to the sky. Hug the heel to the hip and to the sky. And then reverse. Take the other leg high and wide to the sky. Good. And just melt back in to plank. Knees melt in. Stretch back again to child's pose. Letting the head possibly rest to the back of the hands or the floor. It's ideal to let the head rest to some surface. Let's take another easy inhalation. Feel the back of the rib cage rise as you breathe in. And then we're going to come right back up. And we're actually going to come through to a seat. In a few moments, we're going to move into a pose called Pigeon Pose. But I want to share a couple alternatives because I know we might not all feel like going through all the way into Pigeon Pose today. So this is also just a good warm-up to get to Pigeon Pose. Butterfly Pose. Bring the soles of the feet to touch in together, and then hold the shin bones or ankles, and let's create this quality of lift through the heart, through the spine. If it feels too much of a stretch in the inner leg, of course, just bring more space by nudging the feet forward. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, start to fold forward. See if we can just stay steady with our breath. Just noticing the ease of the inhale and the exhale. Noticing in the body, where do we feel the greatest sensation? Probably in the hip, but it could be other places as well. Breathing in, feeling that on the inhale we find that sense of length through the spine. And we're just going to rise through. Take the feet out to your side. And again, let's press through the soles of our feet rather than the feet being relaxed. Engage through the feet. Take a deep breath in. Let's begin more dynamic. Just this move or this fold in and rise up. One more time, rising. Exhale, folding forward. So both butterfly pose, wide leg extended forward fold can be some nice alternatives to do to butterfly pose. Pigeon pose. And another great alternative to pigeon pose, if for some reason that was discomfort in the knee or hip in pigeon pose, you were experiencing that, could be going back to that figure 4 we did on our back at the beginning part of our practice. So pausing here, let the hands rest wherever they're comfortable, and on your inhale, again, that quality of length, we're still pressing through the feet, and we're likely feeling that active stretch and engagement in the inner leg and through the back of the leg. Let's pause here for 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in, a nice lift up. Good. Just one more time, extending through, forward fold. Nice deep breath in and easy breath out. Breathing in again for 3, 2, 1. We'll come up. So we want to come up back to table pose. It's sort of like we took a slight detour into butterfly pose there, but it's also just a nice warm up before we come all the way through into pigeon. Stretch back to our downward facing dog and lengthen our spine. Remember, we're not wanting to be weighted in the upper body, but press your weight back to your thighs. Your thighs, legs are far stronger than your wrists or arms and hands. From here, breathe in, take the right leg to the sky, hug the heel to the hip, and then roll your right knee up and through. So your right knee is coming towards the right portion of your mat. If you want to go deeper into this stretch, that's optional of course, curl your back left toes in, walk your left leg a little further back, and that will actually draw you deeper to your left hip. We could be up on the hands, we could be on the elbows. This is kind of a nice in-between place. If we felt particularly comfortable here, we could even begin to fold the whole torso and head to the floor. So find what feels like a viable, good place for you today. Let's just focus on this one pointer. We never want to let our left, in this case our right hip, just kind of collapse to the floor. We keep the weight even in the left and the right leg or hip. And you can almost imagine like you had a cup or something resting on your sacrum. It's not going to tip to the left or the right. Stay steady with our breath again. So even as distractions, outer distractions, or the distractions of the mind arise, those are the perfect moments to simply come back. Am I breathing in or out? Where am I noticing the greatest sensation in my body at this moment? We're going to inhale and gently come up to the hands, press a little bit side to side, curl the back toes in, and actually let's say if we didn't feel comfortable going all the way through to downward dog like that, we could first come to table pose and then curl the toes through, downward facing dog. Let's breathe in again for 3, 2, 1. Same right leg that you had forward. Just take a moment and lift that leg to the sky, opening into that hip. We're letting fresh circulation extend into that right leg, right hip particularly. Reversing, taking the left leg high. Meanwhile, my right heel is nudging to the floor. And we're going to draw this left knee in towards the chest and bringing the left foot into pigeon pose. Right leg can walk back as you're ready. And once again, just find your place here, whether elbows melt in or whole torso melting in. Just another offering. If you feel like you want to deepen this stretch more, take this forward foot and bring it further up, almost like a 90-degree angle, pressing through that foot a little bit. If that feels like a little too much, that's okay. Bring the sole of the foot to face towards your right hip. Folding in wherever it's comfortable for you today. natural inhale and easy exhale. And then gently, again, come all the way up. Let's give a little shift through our hips side to side. We're going to curl the back toes in, either to table pose or downward facing dog. Hug again the heel to the hip, lengthening through this leg a few times, hugging heel to hip, back to the sky, and back again to downward facing dog. I'm gonna come through a little closer up onto the mat. Just take a minute and kind of walk out the legs a little bit. Exhale, settle back to the mat. And let's take a pause back to child's pose. Knees slightly apart, weight of the head folding either to the mat or to the back of the hands. Let's take one more breath in. And come gently back up into table. We're going to just come through and rest to our back. So as we come to our back, let's just let both legs lengthen all the way to the ground. We'll take a breath in, find the sense of length through the spine. And we're going to draw the left knee to the chest. And hug the knee in and away. Just like we did at the beginning of our practice, let's give a little circle through this left hip. Clockwise, counterclockwise, knee to chest. Good, and then stretch this leg for a moment up to the sky, pressing energy through the heel. And we're going to bring the knee in, let the sole of the foot rest to the inside edge of your leg, pausing simply here to what we call reclined tree pose. So if this felt like it's too deep of a stretch in that top left inner leg, we could place a block under the thigh like so, or even like a pillow or something like that. So once again, let's take a breath in, stretch the arms back alongside the ears. Relaxing the eyelids, the jaw and forehead. Take another nice breath in. Draw the knee to your chest. Stretch this leg through again to the sky. Same leg. Slow weighted leg heavy to the ground. Reaching back through that left side from your left foot to fingertip. Reach long. Exhale and soften. Bring now the right knee into the chest. Circle a little bit through your right hip. Again, this nice sort of circle clockwise, counterclockwise. Hug the knee in, back away. Let's take the leg for a moment to the sky. So now the right leg is reaching through to the sky. If you feel any discomfort in your back as you're doing that, bend your left knee and still keep your right leg to the sky. Let's take one more breath. We're going to draw this knee in and bring the sole of the foot to now rest to that left inner leg. Reaching back through the arms. Let's take 3 or so, just full, easy breaths, simply here. Deep breath in. chin to your chest and stretch the leg to the sky. Lowering the leg to the ground. Let's take a reach back through our right arm and leg. Relax, reach right side, and relax. Let the arms rest softly to your side. Roll the shoulder blades down the back. Make any adjustment you need to be quite comfortable here for a moment to the floor. Pausing to our place of final relaxation, even if just for a brief moment. Feel that your whole body can relax completely at ease to the floor. Find that smooth, soft rhythm or flow of the breath through the torso. Imagine that your body can relax even more fully to the ground, letting go completely. Let's take 3 of our most easy and full breaths in and out through the nose. And just a little movement through the jaw and the forehead. A little movement through the wrists and ankles, circling the wrists and ankles. Bringing your knees to your chest. Give a little hug in. Let's roll all the way through to our side. And then just easy rising back up to our upright seat. Let's find once again this quality of length through our spine, that soft lift of our heart to the sky, and the shoulders melting heavy down away from the ears. I hope that this brief yoga practice has brought you a little greater sense of ease, a little more openness or ease in the hips and the body, and even a little greater quality of the mind. So thank you for taking this time in your day to join me here on your yoga mat in our space together. And I will look forward to being back with you again next week as we continue in our yoga practice. Thank you so much.